Have you ever wondered where the worst cities in the world are? Then look no further. Today, we're taking you on a virtual tour of the world's most dangerous places to visit. From war-torn cities to abandoned ghost towns, get ready for a wild ride. Several factors can contribute to making a city less desirable or bad to visit. These factors can include safety concerns, high crime rates, gang activity, civil unrest, or political instability can significantly impact a city's safety for tourists. Areas with frequent violence or crime may pose risks to visitors. Health and sanitation, poor sanitation, inadequate healthcare facilities, or widespread disease outbreaks can make a city unsafe to visit. Issues like pollution, lack of clean water, or prevalence of infectious diseases can detract from the visitor experience. Natural disasters. Cities located in areas prone to natural disasters, such as earthquakes, hurricanes, or floods, can pose significant risks to visitors' safety and well-being. Political or social unrest. Cities experiencing political protests, social unrest, or conflicts may not be safe or stable for tourists to visit. Travel advisories may warn against visiting such destinations due to potential violence or instability. Starting off our list is Chernobyl in Ukraine. The site of the infamous nuclear disaster is still highly radioactive and not safe for visitors. The radioactive isotopes released during the Chernobyl disaster, such as cesium-137 and strontium-90, have long half-lives, which means they remain hazardous for extended periods. Cesium-137, for example, has a half-life of about 30 years, contributing to the ongoing contamination of the area. Because of this, the Chernobyl disaster had profound health effects on the residents of affected areas. While the immediate casualties from the explosion and acute radiation sickness were tragic, the long-term health impacts have been more difficult to quantify. Increased rates of thyroid cancer, birth defects, and other health problems have been observed in populations exposed to radiation from Chernobyl. Next, we have Caracas, Venezuela. With high crime rates and political instability, this city is not a tourist-friendly destination. Caracas has one of the highest crime rates in the world, with prevalent street crime such as theft, muggings, and armed robberies. Violent crimes, including homicides and kidnappings, are also significant concerns. Criminal activity is often fueled by poverty, unemployment, and economic instability. Also, corruption within law enforcement agencies and judicial systems in Venezuela can undermine public safety and the rule of law. Reports of police involvement in criminal activities, as well as allegations of bribery and extortion, contribute to a lack of trust in law enforcement and hinder efforts to combat crime effectively. Next up is the city of Mosul, Iraq. After years of conflict and destruction, it is not safe for tourists to visit this war-torn city. Mosul has been a focal point of conflict and instability in Iraq, particularly in recent years. The city was occupied by ISIS in 2014, leading to a brutal reign of terror and violence. The battle to liberate Mosul from ISIS control, which began in 2016, resulted in extensive destruction and loss of life. Mosul is home to diverse ethnic and religious communities, including Arabs, Kurds, Turkmen, Assyrians, and Yazidis. Tensions between these groups, as well as sectarian divisions between Sunni and Shia Muslims, have contributed to instability and violence in the city. Moving on to the city of Mogadishu, Somalia. Mogadishu is the capital and largest city of Somalia, located on the coast of the Indian Ocean in the Horn of Africa. It serves as the political, cultural, and economic center of the country, with a population estimated to be over 2 million people. With ongoing violence and instability, this city is best avoided by tourists. Mogadishu has a long history of conflict, including civil war, clan-based violence, and insurgent attacks. The city has been a battleground for various armed factions vying for control, resulting in widespread destruction, displacement of civilians, and loss of life. Overall, the combination of ongoing conflict, terrorist threats, kidnapping risk, lack of infrastructure, and limited government control makes Mogadishu a dangerous destination for tourists. And lastly is the city of Pyongyang in North Korea. With strict government control and limited freedoms, it is not a welcoming place for tourists. Pyongyang is one of the most isolated and restricted cities in the world. Foreign visitors are tightly controlled and must be accompanied by government-approved guides at all times. Tourists are only allowed to visit certain approved sites and are not permitted to freely interact with locals or explore the city independently. Under Kim Jong-un's leadership, North Korea has maintained its authoritarian grip on power, with strict control over all aspects of society, including politics, the economy, the military, and the media. The regime suppresses dissent, restricts freedoms, and enforces loyalty to the leadership through a pervasive system of surveillance, propaganda, and ideological indoctrination. The Korean Peninsula remains a region of high military tensions, with periodic escalations and confrontations between North Korea and neighboring countries, particularly South Korea and the United States. Pyongyang's pursuit of nuclear weapons and ballistic missile capabilities, coupled with its aggressive rhetoric and provocations, heightens the risk of conflict and instability in the region. So, there you have it. Some of the most dangerous and craziest places in the world. If you're looking for a vacation destination, you might want to think twice before visiting these places. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more travel tips and advice.